are married. And this is basically the Vatican saying, like, God will never approve of your marriage, even if the state does.
Yeah.
To that I say, fuck God.
Nay.
Because it's the state that decides what you're paying on your taxes, and it decides what benefits you get from being married. The Catholic Church has decided that the gays are not allowed to get married.
Boo.
Which, like, no one's shocked at. But I think considering the legalization of, like, state marriage, there was a request for the Catholic Church to reevaluate the religious sacrament of matrimony. So,
but didn't Pope Francis state that he was in favor of gay marriage?
Not of gay marriage. He basically was like, people are allowed to be gay, but they're not allowed to be gay and also married in the church. So it's disappointing, because I think that as we reevaluate a lot of our church practices, we should also modernize them. And I think some religions are pretty good at modernizing. The Catholic Church, unfortunately, is not. So the Roman Catholic Church said in a letter that they cannot bless same-sex marriages, no matter how stable or positive the couple's relationships are. And this was declared last Monday by the Vatican.
That's really sad. I'm sorry for anyone who's religious.
I think it's really
religious and listening.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult for people who are gay, who are also members of the Catholic Church, because it's no longer even just like, oh, you're just not accepted. Now it's like you're accepted, but like not really. There's this sort of like half foot in the water. Yeah, and I'm sure that feels really shitty, and I'm sorry for everyone who is now feeling like an identity crisis, or feeling like they're not allowed to be part of the thing that they believe, because I know I personally know gay people who are also devout Catholics, and I'm sure that this is a really difficult identity crisis that people are gonna suffer because of.
For sure.
So the message, which was approved by Pope Francis, was a response to questions about whether the church should reflect the increasing social and legal acceptance of same-sex unions through the church. And the church says its answer regarding same-sex couples declares illicit any form of blessing that tends to acknowledge their unions as such. So basically just like, it's a no for them. The church says.
It's a no for me, dog,
it's a
says
no.
Pope Francis.
They say that bestowing a blessing on a same-sex couple's relationship would also be an imitation of nuptial blessing, and the Vatican said that God does not and cannot bless a sin. Fuck them, would be my response.
Oh, yeah. How close are they to God? Really?
They believe very close. The Vatican is like, we talk to God all the time, and that in itself is kind of fucked.
You know what? I'm sure a lot of other people DM with God, and Instagram friends are real.
Yeah. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. And I want the gays to be able to get matrimonied.
Listen to Margaret and Judy Bloom.
Yeah. And so basically people are obviously upset. They're like, this is discrimination.
Yeah.
And the church is like, listen, we're not trying to discriminate, okay? We're not telling you to be mean to gay people. We're just telling you that they're not legal, or they're not religiously a sanct marriage in our eyes.
Yeah. And I mean, how far does that extend though? If you're saying that gay people can't get married, then like, how are you supposed to believe that the church accepts you as a gay person in general when you have those restrictions?
And that's the thing. Like, it's this whole like kind of, you know, cartwheeling that they're doing of being like, we accept it. No, like, we really, really accept it. We just don't support it. Like, we're not going to be a part of it.
They're like they're your religious parents.
Yeah. And so I think that I think that the big thing to touch on in this conversation is like, there are two forms of marriage that people tend to want to go through. One is the legal marriage, and right now you can do that in the United States. You can legally get married. You're doing your taxes together. It is a legal binding thing that you are allowed to do. In the Catholic Church, and I would assume even with like Judaism and other religions, there's also the like religious sacrament, or like, you know, ceremony of marriage. And that's something that is blessed by the church or blessed by your religion, and it says that you guys, under the eyes of God, are married. And this is basically the Vatican saying like, God will never approve of your marriage, even if the state does.
Yeah.
To that I say, fuck God.
Nay.
Because it's the state that decides what you're paying on your taxes, and it decides what benefits you get from being married. But at the same time, I understand the desire, if you're a religious person, to be recognized by the church that you're a part of. And it's really unfortunate that the Catholic Church kind of refuses to update and modernize with our culture.
Yeah, and it kind of gives more ammo to your super religious family members who are not supporting it. And if they were to approve it in a letter, what is this, like a camp letter?
Yeah, they're like, dear everyone, sorry to the gays, but no, not for me.
It's
no
out
marriage
of our
today.
hands. We don't make the rules. God does.
Yeah. And you're totally right. It gives people in the congregation more fuel to be like, well, it is a sin. God says it's a sin. We might say it's okay legally, but it's a sin.
Yeah, and this is the importance of religious laws and government laws.
Yeah.
It sets this precedent, universal ideal.
Yeah. But and like the same way that we're no longer like bringing 2 turtle doves to the, church every time we're done with our period.
I'm bringing 2 turtles.
Yeah. Turtles, that's what it is. Sorry, my bad.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, like in the Bible, in some place, it's like part of like being done with your period is like bringing 2 turtles along. It's like a whole thing. We were talking about this the other day. Like when you like religiously, like when you were on your period, you were like exiled to a hut. We don't do that anymore. So let's update all of our practices to be more reflective of a modern society. Like I'm fucking over it. All right.